members in our community. Today, I'm with Maria Haykal, a friend, but also the force behind Angry Birds in distribution and partnership. She's leading the effort there, and she is today sharing her story from Beirut to Helsinki and even by India. It's a really good episode where I really love to speak with my friends Maria. She's an amazing person and really recommend to listen and get inspiration from it. I hope you like it. Hello everybody, it's Claire from Rzain Society. I'm really excited to be with not only one of the best professional I worked with, but also with such an amazing person that I can call my friend, Maria Haykal. Hello Maria, how are you doing?
Hi, Claire. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here on the podcast with you and for Rosa Society, and I can't wait to get into this.
I mean, same here. Today we are going to have a lot of things to speak about because Maria did quite a lot of things. We are going to speak about leadership, career advice, but also, about her experience being nowadays in what is one of the biggest gaming studio at Rovio regarding puzzle. So really excited to speak about how we can evolve in this gaming industry from Beirut to Helsinki. So Maria, tell us a bit more about your experience. How did you start? When did you start? What was your journey?
Okay, so I started in Beirut. I studied animation at Alba, which is the Academy of Beaux-Arts Libanais. And from there, I was recruited to be in one of the first gaming studios in Lebanon, which was Wixel. I animated some of the characters for one of their upcoming games. Unfortunately, in 2014, when the recession started there, the gaming studio had to shut down. And from there, I started creating with my partner some other games. We got our first game licensed out in a way, or it's not really licensed out, but we got a request to make it. And from there, after that, we moved to India, where he was working at Electronic Arts, and I was taking care of our 1-year-old. And going back in time, we really wanted to move to Helsinki. We always wanted to come and study here because it has a very nice and very put together community when it comes to games and very good education. So when we had the opportunity to come and join Rovio, it was fall first, so we moved all the family here, and that's how we ended up in Helsinki.
Wow, that's a really huge story. So you started in animation. Is it something you kept? Are you still working in animation right now, or you started over and over again?
So I started over and over again. I did start in animation, and that's what my degree is in, if we want to put it that way. I'm a very big, passionate animation person. My dreams were always tied to DreamWorks and all the Pixar movies, and that's what I always dreamt about doing. I discovered gaming because of my brother, and I also discovered that in gaming there is animation. So PlayStation was the first kind of real gaming experience we had in the 90s in Lebanon. So early 2000s, I want to say also. And from there, I evolved my love into actually studying it and then working in it. And then after that, I did take a break at some point from the animation industry and from the gaming industry, but now I'm just back in it, and I work in a completely separate facade of it, which is distribution and partnerships for content.
Nice, and it's really inspiring, to always kind of look for some different things. Would you say each countries had different challenges, even if it was still a gaming scene? And if so, what would you say are the main challenge of each region? Because you made India, you made Helsinki, you made also Lebanon. So did you identify things that can be a pattern, or it's really specific?
Yeah, I want to say in Lebanon, well, back in the day, again, I'm speaking early 2010s till 2014, the knowledge of the community was very reserved. It like there wasn't this like openness about sharing about how to create or how to give. We had very limited resources. Again, it was a country in the Middle East in a very specific time period where all the countries around it also were not very stable. So sharing resources was very, very hard. But in Finland, in Helsinki, it's such a collaborative effort. But the getting into the industry in Helsinki is also not easy at all. So even if it's a big industry, it's a very open industry, it's a very knowledge giving and knowledge sharing industry. It's not easy to get in it.
100%. And I personally lived in Helsinki, and I think it's a place where it was the most weird for me to be as an expat. Like, I think, like, like Finnish in itself is a language that is really difficult to learn, and there is a lot of people speaking Finnish as well. So how would you say like this was a real strength for you to be an expat in a Finnish company? And is it something that was, like challenging, or it was a real asset at the end of the day because you bring something new that basically like the company was seeking for?
I would say it was challenging, but again, I do see myself as an asset, and I hope a very valuable one as well. It is very challenging. I had to start from zero. I was a 29-year-old intern that evolved into a 30-year-old junior and into a 31-year-old where I am now. So I've held four positions in the last 2 years at Rovio, and it was challenging. It was a lot of effort, but that effort was 100% recognized from my team and from everybody around me. They knew that I came with a baggage of knowledge that would help them a lot, and I also am learning from them every day. So it's a win-win situation for everybody, and that like pushed my growth and in this company.
I love this, and I have to say, like, I mean, like we often say that titles are not making the people and so on, and I think you never, behaved as an intern. Like you've always been so, like knowledgeable, and like you always led by example. Yeah, like either when I remember I was working in diversity and inclusion, and you always gave me tips, to improve things, which really is like leading by example for me. And what would you advise to those starting over, like at 29, that need to do an internship? Because it's quite common, to be honest, in Finland. I had a Belgium friend, for instance, like her diploma was not recognized. She has to come back from start as well, and so on. So what do you think is making the difference between someone succeeding and someone not succeeding when starting over and over again?
I think it's the passion, right? So if you have the passion, if you don't love what you're doing, then change it. It doesn't make sense. Don't do it. Go find something you love. If you love what you're doing, you will succeed at what you do, even if you start from zero at the age of 60. There's no, like, I want to say there's no shame, and there's like nothing you should carry with you with like the title of an intern. I probably said I started over and here I am. It's just your passion and your love and you wanting to grow and you wanting to share your knowledge and absorb every knowledge around you like a sponge is what is going to lead you to where you are. You won't be able to do this on your own. It also the people that surround you. So I give 100% credit to my team. My team helped me grow. They've been like feeding me knowledge, and I've been like the sponge absorbing it. So the people, your mentality, and your outlook of what you want to become are what matter.
100%, totally aligned. I think the mindset and drive, loving what you do is so important, and also key changing also if you are going to succeed or not, because you always need to compromise at the end of the day, especially when you are an expat changing one country to the other. So you need to be willing to do this, kind of middle ground, like compromise, where like that will set you up for success. So I think it's really interesting, and I would like to pick your brain on games, because the scene has been changing quite a lot. Like there is a lot of people speaking about like horizontal and vertical growth for games, and a lot of people are watching really really closely the MENA region. What do you think about it, and what would you advise to the publisher that want to go into those regions that are not maybe from the region itself?
Okay, this is a hard one. um, I would advise them to just at least see, right? Experience. These people are people that have been stripped of everything but still want to create. So they have the passion and the energy to put into these games. Even though they probably are not top notch, they're not like triple A quality. It's not big today that like they could produce something that is equal to they won't be able to produce something equal to Royal Match in one day. Let's be very honest. But they have the passion, they want to succeed, they want to thrive, they don't want to survive anymore. They've been surviving for the longest time, and they just want to create games. So go help them, fund them, and see what they can do.
Yes, I think like being there is super important. I'm always so surprised, at the amount of studio that want, to penetrate, for instance, LATAM, but don't even open a studio there. Do you have any reason behind this? Like, do you know why? I mean, I personally don't know, so I'm just picking your brain here.
Yeah. um i I actually like, I think it's always been that um there is this fear that goes like hand in hand with the MENA region. It is not a stable region to open a business, to go there. It's not always the safest or the most stable. I think that is one like very crucial point there. The other thing is, I think that we like, at least Europe, not everybody has their eyes open on the talent that is there. Whatever the media portrays is what they see. They kind of like, this is such a secondary topic to go and look for a smaller publishing studio or like a smaller studio that is creating something. It wouldn't be kind of the top priority. They would rather take somebody closer. Same with like, same with us. Like, we would rather always have somebody in the same time zone. It's easier to work with. It's like easier to deal with. um 1 hour difference is fine, but yeah, I think this should kind of is always like a big blockage there.
Nice, that's great. I mean, totally aligned. Maria, I have a question, because like I'm doing also my games, my studio, my team is in Africa, and we had this debate: should we do local games or just games like like related to T1 countries, like the something that would looks like Royal Match and so on. So we had a debate about this as a team. So I'm really curious to have your opinion on this. Do you think like basically the main Taiwan games would work in MENA? And if yes, why? And if not, like what do you think would work?
Well, I I see them working, right? So the main T1 games do work there. That's why a lot of companies at the end of the day look into the MENA region and like look into targeting those regions. Um, I would also like to have like that's my personal opinion. It's always good to have personalized games because cultures are different, right? So what applies to like let's look at Royal Match. A king would not probably work there. You would need like a prince. Just like a simple example. It like taking these big games and making them more personalized for that region might work, but and they also might not. Like, looking at what this region likes and how the spenders behave is different than like how spenders would behave in North America or in Europe or in other parts of Asia. So I do think like it's a cultural thing at the end, and how people decide to spend their money is also a cultural thing. So on what do you prioritize in life is a cultural thing. So yeah.
Yes. So would you say like localization is still something that will be important for those region or not that much?
I would say yeah, definitely. It is very important. The localization is key for those regions. It's not just important.
Yes, and I think I mean I'm totally aligned, and this is the conclusion we came out with the team, like kind of finding a middle ground, between something we know and something that we will also localize. And the thing is, like when you go there, for instance, I was like 2 months ago in Senegal, everything is localized. Like the ads you see on the street are localized. Like you have some Ramadan ads and so on and so on. So, but in gaming, it seems to be such a big thing, just to do like a live ops related to Ramadan, for instance. So do you think like there is reason behind this or not really?
Like why do big games not do like the localization or like targeting these
Like
specific.
why big e-commerce brands, like for instance,
Okay.
we have like Auchan in Senegal, which is like a supermarket basically.
Okay.
They are just doing all their ads localized, like with people that are really from there
Mhm.
and so on. And it just seems, like something natural just for e-commerce to do so. And I think in gaming, every time you have something that is
Mhm.
localized, it will be either not prioritized or it will be something that sometimes company won't feel really comfortable to do so.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question because I've not like at least for me when I go back to Lebanon, I've never noticed something not being that localized because everything is quite localized, right? So yeah, that's a good question. I can't I have no answer for it, but like it is surprising, yeah.
I mean, 100%. And like even at some point, like I feel like even localization in Europe, like in France, for instance, my
Mhm.
parents are not speaking English. I still see games that are in English, right? Same goes in
Yeah.
Brazil, which is we know a country where people are all speaking Portuguese, and I mean, of course, there is a share of the
Mm.
population speaking English as well, but it's really few. So I always ask myself about this. Maybe something, like we should ask everyone, and I hope something that is
Yeah.
going to change as well.
I hope so too because like I'm just really now thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know. Like why is it not? Um I yeah, I wish that also upon everything because if you think like from simple brands like drinks and like even for example we have Carrefour in Lebanon and it is even localized there so
I mean,
like that's a basic so I'm just thinking like yeah why don't we localize everything so yeah.
but I really think it's something that is coming up. I think like the biggest brand now they are focusing on it, but I think gaming is really new, and I think it's some layer that are going to be built. I think, but I think to be honest, if people they want to increase profit, I don't see how it can go without like adapting to the people and the audience at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's again. I'm no expert in in this topic, and but yes, I completely agree. Like, if you want to see growth, you should target the people, and you should localize, and you should make it available for them. We cannot just keep thinking that everybody speaks English or everybody speaks French or everybody like no. We all have different backgrounds and different languages and we need to be able to understand what we're doing.
100% Maria. Okay, so I mean, I have a last question,
Yes.
and this one is more for all the talent listening to you. So, what would you advise to someone that is starting nowadays? What would you advise them to do to be in your place, like 10 years maybe?
um just find what you're passionate about, make sure you're passionate about it, and just also be aware that your passions will change when you grow. I dreamt about being an animator, but I'm doing distribution. It's still in the same domain, like in under the same hood, in the same domain, but it's completely different. I'm not drawing, I'm not doing 2D sketches anymore. I'm not like hand animating anything, but I'm still working with something I like. And if it's not something you like, then just find what you like and just grow into it. You don't have to find it when you're 18. You don't have to find it when you're 19. You can also find it when you're 40. That's what is important.
I love it, and it's a lot of wisdom here. Thank you so much, Maria, for having been with us. Go check Maria LinkedIn. She's a star. She's amazing, and thank you again for being with us.
Thank you so much, Claire. And I wish that everybody like finds success and finds happiness in their job, because a job is like 50% of your life, and you should be happy in what you do. And if you're not happy, just don't do it.
Yes, 100%. It's really wise. Just move on. Like, you are someone valuable. You have a lot to bring to this world, and work is work. I mean, you can make your own if it's not okay with some others. So
Yes,
go for it.
100%.
Thank you,
Thank you
Maria.
so
Bye
much.
bye. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us next time for more insight into the world of gaming. Until then, keep playing and stay inspired. Claire from Rzain Society.